What if one person's compassion could help millions of strangers, and most people never knew the full story? Investing in women is not tangential to solving humanity's most pressing problems. It is foundational to solving them. Some transformations announce themselves with noise and disruption, and some look like paperwork. And occasionally the paperwork moves more than the noise ever could. By the end of the story, you may never look at generosity the same way again. When people hear the name Melinda French Gates, many think of one of the world's wealthiest women. Some might even think about social media. But behind the headlines is a remarkable journey of research, compassion, and determination that has helped improve the lives across the globe. This is the story of someone who asked a simple question: how can I help? And spent decades turning that question into action. Her title: The Legacy of Empowered Women. Welcome to Dream Builders Diaries, building dreams one story at a time. I'm Jeannie Craft, and here at Dream Builders Diaries, we dive deep into the personal stories of entrepreneurs, artists, innovators, and everyday visionaries just like you. We believe that every dream starts with a story worth telling, and by sharing these stories, we aim to empower you to create your own dream and the story behind it. But before we get started, grab a paper and a pencil if you don't already have one. Inspiration, ideas, and dreams come and go very quickly. Jot yours down. Don't let them get away. Millions of children got a chance to grow up because someone they'd never met believed their lives mattered. Real power isn't measured by what you keep. It's measured by what you give away. The world remembers the fortune. Few remember the mission that may become the greatest legacy. In May 2024, Melinda French Gates signed some paperwork, collected $12.5 billion, and quietly walked away from one of the most powerful philanthropic partnerships in history, and did it so quietly that most people missed what had actually just happened. No press conference, no leaked memos, no social media statement designed to frame the narrative before anyone else could. Just documents. Signatures. She also took with her the largest personal philanthropic reallocation towards gender equity ever recorded in history. This would be redirected entirely at her own discretion toward the work she had decided that mattered most, only to her. To understand what she walked away from, you kind of have to understand where she came from. She was born in Dallas in 1964 and grew up with a particular combination of intellectual ambition and the quiet determination that produces people who end up changing things around them. She studied computer science and economics at Duke, and she earned her MBA and joined Microsoft in 1987 at 22 years old. She was included in rooms that were overwhelmingly filled with grown men making decisions that would shape an industry and eventually a world, and especially a world of women. Those rooms were there for her learning and her discernment. She learned how power flows when it concentrates in particular hands. She became aware of how capital moves towards the people who already have it and can control it. How institutions resist change and not helping people, though not through malice, but through the accumulated inertia of every decision that has ever been made in a particular direction. She married Bill Gates in 1994, and by her 30s, she was navigating a world where billions of dollars were talked about in conversations she was a part of. None of these lessons were wasted. These conversations shaped everything she built afterwards. The Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation was established in the year 2000, and over the following 2 decades, it has become one of the most influential philanthropic organizations in the world, directing billions of dollars towards global health, vaccine development, malaria prevention, and education. The work was real, and the impact has been documented. Children who received vaccines because of this foundation funding are alive today, and otherwise they may not be. Even with this body of work, Melinda was still creating, working to establish Pivotal Ventures as a separate investment and incubation company operating entirely under her direction. The framework of this venture was precise and deliberate. It was not a charity. This is an investment vehicle. This distinction mattered to Melinda because of how she thought about what she was doing for and with women. She had been tracking data for years that told a consistent story across geographies and income levels and cultural contexts. She had learned that when women controlled household income, children were healthier. When women had access to contraception, intergenerational poverty cycles broke. When women led companies, innovation measurably accelerated. When women held political office, policy outcomes shifted in directions that benefited broader populations. Women were not a demographic requiring charitable assistance. They were, in her estimation, the real investment. But they were also the most underinvested infrastructure for human progress that existed on the planet. Through pivotal ventures, she has funded paid family leave campaigns across multiple American states. She backed research quantifying the economic cost of unpaid caregiving, work that produced figures in the trillions and reframed domestic labor as economic policy questions rather than a private family arrangement. She invested in female-led venture capital firms that traditional Silicon Valley funding structures had consistently overlooked. She also directed resources towards Black maternal health, addressing mortality rates that remain a documented crisis in the wealthiest country on earth, the United States of America. She treated contraception across access as economic infrastructure rather than a social cause. The distinction was not systematic. It changed who she partnered with, how she measured outcomes, and what counted as success. After 27 long years, her marriage ended in 2021. Bill and Melinda Gates remained co-chairs of the foundation following the divorce and continued working within its shared governance structure for nearly 3 more years. The foundation's work must continue, she thought. The unified public front largely held as far as the foundation was concerned, but something had shifted in what she believed was possible within a shared structure versus what she could build with complete autonomy over every decision. On May 13, 2024, she resigned as co-chair. Under the terms of her departure, she received $12.5 billion to direct towards her own philanthropic work. She would no longer operate with a governance structure that required consensus. She would build her own architecture for change, shaped entirely by the conclusions she had been reaching across 3 decades of working inside the most powerful rooms in philanthropy and business. She had decided with such clarity, that she no longer needed shared billing to do what she determined needed to be done. The Gates Foundation continues. The vaccines still reach children. The malaria research still saves lives. And the work she and Bill built together did not disappear with her departure. But what her exit represented was something the philanthropic world had not quite seen before. Not a retirement, not a reduction of ambition. Instead, a refinement of purpose, executed on an enormous scale, directed entirely by the conclusion she had spent decades coming to. No drama accompanied the announcement, no memoirs forthcoming to relegate the decisions, no public accounting of private disagreements designed to frame who was right or who was wrong. Just legal documents and financial transfers and the quiet redirection of $12 million towards the principles she had been building towards for 30 years. This story isn't about money. It's about what happens when someone decides every life matters. Someone who feels underestimated, someone who has no idea how much can change when a woman decides she is done waiting for her consensus. She needs to hear this. She needs to realize her dream. So, what should we think about? What's our recap? What's your biggest takeaway from our diary today? How does this diary relate to how you review and what you learned as you brought forth your dreams to life? Why this diary? Because this diary demonstrates the magic and beauty and a love of giving. The world is better for millions because of it. And behind the headlines is a story few people have heard, but millions have felt. And also I share this diary because this powerful diary also celebrates the virtues of following one's heart to make her dreams a reality. over and over again. Some gifts disappear. Hers keeps changing lives decades later. Dreamers, believe in yourselves, be passionate, work smart, and know your why, and apply what you learn each day. Enjoy life and always, always be kind. I want to leave you with this quotation. If you invest in a girl or a woman, you're investing in everyone else. That was by Melinda Gates. I'll read it again. If you invest in a girl or a woman, you are investing in everyone else. Melinda Gates. Thank you, Melinda Gates, for the stories. I continue to learn from your example and for all you have done to make the world a better place, a healthier place to live. Special thanks to those of you who listen to Dream Builders Diaries regularly. I'm grateful to you. The honor to spend time with you is all mine. Check out the other diaries in the Dream I Learned playlist. If you don't have it yet, get your 90-Day Dream Builders Diary by Jeannie Craft on Amazon. The link will be in the description. Like and share this diary and subscribe for more. Contact us to share your story. Thank you, and until next time, building dreams one story at a time.